this country into this starlight. 12,000 miles, turn back, do it again. No destination, it's just a journey. You were my lover and friend.
This is a very special Q&A all about our last bus build, bus number 2, the 21-part series that you guys saw right here on YouTube. We asked for your questions specifically about that bus, mostly through Instagram, and we just randomly chose 10 questions, and we're going to answer them here for you now.
Let's hop into it. I can't wait to hear what kind of questions we got and see what kind of answers I can come up with.
Before we go any further, we're just going to clarify the bus situation. Bus number 1, we built in 2020. That's the bus that's behind us. It has the blue and black stripes. We live in that bus. We live in it. It's ours.
Yeah.
It has green cabinets on the inside. Bus number 2, that is the bus that you saw in that 21-part build series last summer, 2021. And that is the bus that has blue cabinets on the inside. They look almost identical.
They're pretty similar
In photos, but the colors of the cabinets are different. So we just wanted to clarify that because sometimes there's some confusion.
Oh, got the old notebook out there, huh?
I like the notebook. Not so big on the phone. I want to write the questions down, you know?
All right, let's get to it.
All right. Question number 1. How long did the second build take compared to the first one?
The short answer, of course, is too long because everybody wants to get it done as fast as you can. But it took 6 months, which was 1 month longer than it took us to build our own bus. But in terms of hours, it was about half the time.
Our bus, the first bus, took 2,000 hours of labor to complete, and a lot of that was research. You know, we were sitting inside on the computer figuring out what products we wanted to use, and then we would go outside and build after we were done researching. So a lot of those hours were just sitting and gathering information. Then for bus number 2, we already had all that figured out. We knew what products we wanted to use, so we just ordered them and got started. And bus number 2 took 1,000 hours. Although it took longer in terms of months, it was because we were treating it more like a job, like a Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 kind of thing. By the end, we weren't doing that. We were just working on it all the time. But in the beginning, it was like a job. So bus number 1, our bus, took 5 months, but 2,000 hours. Bus number 2, the new bus, took 6 months, but 1,000 hours. So kind of confusing there because they're flip-flopped in terms of months versus hours.
The one other thing to point out and why it probably took us longer was we were filming everything, and then the end of almost every week we would do a sit down and talk about everything we did, and we had to prepare stuff for that. So that slowed the actual building down probably a little bit.
All right. Question number 2, something you wish your bus had that the new one does.
That's a really great question. I think there are some things that we haven't done, but we did apply some of the things we really liked in the new bus into our bus right after we were done building. For example, there was the inverter charger, which allows you to both, the inverter, but also charge your batteries with shore power and bypass and power your whole house. We did not have that in our bus. We just had an inverter. We really liked the new one, so we put it into our bus. As well, another example was just like the light underneath the bed. We never had one in this bus, and as soon as we did it on the new bus, I was like, we got to add that to ours. It's just way easier to see what you're doing.
Yeah, and as far as lights, just another kind of accessory thing. It's not like a huge issue, but the strip lights that we put above the overhead cabinets in the new bus are so cool. As soon as we installed those, and I designed the overhead cabinets with a little bit of a gap between the ceiling and where the cabinet started, so there was room for those lights. But as soon as we did it, we installed the strip lights and turned them on. It was like, oh man, this is so cool.
Yeah, we're pretty jealous of those. Definitely wish we had that in our bus. Okay, this is a question we've been getting a lot. Do you guys know if you'll be doing another build again? And if so, will it be a bus, van, or a SKOOLIE? Let me give you the answer I've been giving everyone in person. Ask me in like 4 months. I'm burnt. I'm starting to feel better, but people were asking before we're even done. It's like, I don't even ask me right now. I can't answer that yet.
Our builds are really intense. They're really in depth. They're very detail oriented. There's some days that both of us are just in that bus working on tiny little details all day long. That's why it takes so long. And I think that's why they're as beautiful as they are in photos and videos and in person. Everybody loves them so much. But that means it takes a lot of our time. And so right now we're just excited to be traveling in our own bus and living the lifestyle.
Okay, question number 4. What made you decide to cover the bathroom window in this bus build?
This most recent bus, bus number 2, does not have T-top sliders on the windows. And most people don't realize that because you're not thinking about it. But if you go back and you look at the windows of that bus, there's no sliders on the top. So our bus has those T-top sliders. That's why we have a window in our bathroom and there isn't a window in the new bus, is because that just wasn't really an option, and there was no way to section off one piece of that full window and keep it watertight. It just wasn't going to happen. There would definitely be water behind that wall. So we decided to just take it out completely, and I don't think it really takes away anything from the bathroom. Question number 5, why did you make the bed and drawers under the heater smaller in the new bus than in our own bus?
Okay, so that's a good question. We keep getting this question. The bed is not smaller. It's an optical illusion, I think. The bus itself is about 5 or 6 inches narrower than our bus. So in order to fit standard full mattress, we did a bit of a cutout underneath the closet that is in the back of the bus. But when you're looking in the bus, there's a false face there of a wall. So you probably can't see that the bed actually extends another like 6-8 inches or whatever it is. And it probably looks like the bed is cut short. I'm guessing that's what people are seeing in a photo and in thinking that bed looks short, but it is the same bed that we have. It is a standard full-size bed.
And we'll put the photo up here of our closet and the closet in bus number 2. So they're both at the ends of the bed, but we had to cut out the bottom section in bus number 2 to be able to fit that full-size mattress, because full, I think, is the smallest size you could have for 2 people, especially already living in a small space. You want to at least have a full-size bed. So we just took out that small section at the bottom of the closet so that you could still use that storage space to its full potential, but you are getting the length of the bed.
Yeah, so if you are 6'2" or under, you will fit. If you're taller than that, well, you already deal with this probably all the time, so you'd figure something else out.
As far as the drawers that are underneath the heater in the new bus, they're a little bit narrower than the ones we have in our own bus. In ours, we have a freezer in that spot, we have Mateo's drawer, a bunch of storage, and they are pretty wide. But in the new bus, this is what's funny about these buses, is that each one is so different. They have little quirks. And for the new bus, the shower wasn't able to start as far forward as we could in our own. There was a funky little wall and the overcab compartment came out farther, so we lost several inches just with how the bus frame was designed, because the shower had to start back farther from the driver's seat.
Yeah, simply put, there was just a few inches less from the start of behind the driver's seat to the back wall. And we didn't want to sacrifice the bed, obviously, and we didn't want to change the couch dimensions at all. So that just left us cutting a few inches off and using what was left and still putting some drawers in there, but they had to be narrower.
We're halfway done.
We're almost there.
5 down, 5 to go.
Okay.
The 6th question, did you mortar in your shower pan? I assume that we're talking about the stainless steel pans that we use in our builds. We sell these pans. They inset into the floor. You can find them on our website. We have a little tab called Custom Shop. So you can custom order these shower pans, and obviously that's what we use in both of our builds. So when you're installing these stainless steel pans, you don't have to do anything other than just screw them down at each corner. They will be secure into your floor. We inset both of them, so we just screwed them right into the subfloor. But if you were building it above your flooring, you could just put a little wooden frame around it, screw it into that. But no mortar is needed for those shower pans at all.
Next question. Minus the cost of the bus, what were your total expenses to build it?
So expenses, this is just the material costs, the wood, the hardware, the fixtures, you know, all of that stuff. So for this bus, it was $20,000. For our own, it was $15,000, but you know, a lot of these prices have gone up even more, and they were inflated in 2020. So we just paid a lot for materials, and $20,000 is not the cost of the bus itself. It was a very new bus, 2017. We did that because we were selling it. We wanted to get somebody into a new reliable vehicle. And then the next cost is labor. Our labor is the biggest cost on that bus, and so it's not factoring in either of those things, but for just material costs, it was $20,000. Question 8. How did you install the motor on your bus doors?
Oh, guys, this one was so simple. We didn't. It was already there. Most shuttle buses, I believe, have this feature because they're often used to pick up passengers, whether it's from airport or whatever it is, and the driver has the button to open and close the door. So I guess I'd be surprised if there's many shuttle buses that don't have that, unless they were taken out later. School buses, that's probably not very common. But yeah, we didn't have to install it. We just had to wire into it. So I couldn't tell you exactly how you would do that. If I ever do that project, I'll definitely let everybody know.
After we put out the full series, we started getting a ton of questions about how we installed the motor on our bus doors. And I know people are looking at the key fob, and so they want to hook up the key fob to their doors, but their doors are manual. It doesn't have a motor. And so we can't really help with that because we've never looked at any shuttles that have a manual door. Everyone that we've bought or looked at, considered buying, had a motor for the doors. So I guess I didn't even consider that some of them could be manual.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a thing, but I guess maybe it is.
If it's the key fob you're looking for, we made a full video about how Drew installed the key fob into the already existing bus motor. So if you have a motor on your bus doors, you can do that really, really easily, and we'll link that down below. Second to last question.
Okay.
How does the glass shower door do with travel? I so want to do this, but am worried about it.
Oh, yeah, everybody's worried about that. In our experience, it's been fine. And as far as I understand, when glass is stored vertically, when it's moved, it's strong. If you get glass like this and you're going up and down on a road, it's going to shatter probably. Your only real concern, at least ours, is the shower head getting free and like swinging into it. But
yeah,
as far as like just driving, we haven't had any troubles with it, so I think you're good to go. I don't think you're gonna really have a problem unless you knock into it with something.
We always tell people that if you look at those really expensive Class A motorhomes, they're putting glass in their shower doors and in their shower surrounds, and like Drew said, it being vertical makes it a lot stronger than if it was laying down. That's how they ship glass, is standing up and down.
Yep.
And also, you already have a lot of glass in your vehicle and on your shuttle bus. All your windows are glass, and nobody ever thinks about that. You're driving around surrounded by glass, and that's not shattering. So, like Drew said, just something swinging into it and hitting it is my greatest fear, but we haven't even come close to having anything happen with that door so far. Question number 10, the final question. We've made it. We're here. We're at the end, the grand finale.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
That's how it starts.
Okay.
Hi. Did you guys consider keeping bus 2 and selling bus 1?
Ooh, this is a question we got a lot from friends and family in the beginning. We briefly kicked the idea around, but really the goal in the beginning was to buy that, build it, and sell it. It was a much newer bus. It was much more expensive than ours as far as the vehicle. So even when the days where we were like, man, this is really nice, we should just keep it, it was like, we're just going to be kind of at a wash. We might lose some money if we do that because like I said, it was a lot more expensive because it's way newer, very low miles. So no, the plan really all along was to stay in ours, but there were days that it was tempting to maybe jump into the new bus.
Like Drew mentioned in previous questions, when you're building to sell, it's a much more intense process, and we were perfectionist about it. We finished every little detail and put 100% into everything, and that turned out into a really nice bus. So there were days towards the end where it was like, man, it's a nice bus. It'd be nice to take this thing out west, particularly because it is a 2017. Our bus is a 2007. So driving that 2017 bus around, it drives like a van. It's so nice. It's so smooth. We'd be driving it and we're like, oh man, this is so nice.
Yeah, one of the one breaking point, even if we were very serious about that bus is a little bit smaller and not quite as tall inside. And for me, being over 6'2", it was like, I don't think I want to have to stand like this. Most people aren't going to have that problem because most people are probably 6 foot or less. So it was just like a wee bit smaller. But for driving, it made it drive a lot nicer.
That's it for our Q&A for bus number 2, all about the build process, the components. If we wanted to keep it, is a beautiful bus. We are so proud of it, and we're excited to be relaxing in our own bus now.
Thank you for all the questions, and thank you for sticking around, and don't stray too far because we got more videos coming very soon, and we'll see you guys next time.